Welcome to this AdHer broadcast. My name is Therese Sinter, and I'm heading AdHer, one of the largest female networks in tech and IT in Sweden. Last year we had a brilliant idea, and we thought, how can we make the women in Sweden that work in tech and IT more visible, love bomb them, and tell them they are magnificent. And that's when we thought of AdHer Awards. So today, I wanted you to have the opportunity to see who won AdHer Awards last year in 2022. And that is a team of fantastic national winners in 5 different categories. So we have role model, visionary, value maker, superstar, and energizer. And they are all here, so welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
And I will let you introduce yourself a little bit. So starting with Kajsa, who was elected a superstar in 2022. Who are you and where do you work? What do you do?
So I'm a UX designer, and I work as a senior manager at the creative agency Frog in Malmö.
Wow, that sounds super fantastic. And I would like to say also, if I read some of the motivation behind why you won last year, is that you are a true superstar. Your passion is to be in the intersection of new technology and design. And you generously share knowledge and insights. And you're described as a walking library.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Beautiful to read.
But the full motivation behind the win, you could find it on the website, sogeti.se/AdHer, and you can go AdHer Awards. Good. Next is, let's say, Garima Singh. And you were the visionary of the year last year. So tell me, what do you do?
So I work as a chief architect, head of architecture at a very engineering-led company called Sandvik Group, where we operate in the mining. Yes, we operate in the mining, machining, as well as in the rock processing solutions. And it's based in Stockholm.
Based in Stockholm, but you're based in Gothenburg, right?
I'm based in Gothenburg.
So let's look at some of the things that were said about you, why you won. You're always in the forefront of new technology, shaping the standards of the future. That's really important. And you keep a close eye on trends, devours the latest news in areas such as architecture, cloud, and IoT. Is that true?
Yes, I'm very passionate about data, AI, IoT, and architecture.
Yeah, fantastic. So next, Alva, maybe. You can see the sparkles in her eyes. She was named the Energizer of the year last year. So tell me, where do you work now and what do you do?
Yeah, I work as a business analyst at the business unit quality management at Nitec in their Umeå office, where I also live.
Cool. And if we read something about you, it's pretty amazing. Alva is a true energy booster, a social genius who leaves no one untouched. I get the shivers when I read it. She shines like the sun. And then it says, her drive and optimism makes her love to, and she loves to solve challenges. If the world had more Alvas, we would already have flying cars and populations on other planets.
Wow.
Pretty cool. So you want this Energizer with you on another planet?
Yeah.
In your super cool flying car.
Yeah.
Anyway, good. Who would go next? Åsa Klevmarken?
Yes.
And you were selected value maker. Maybe, I mean, that's strong, right?
Yes.
You want to be a value maker of the year. Where do you work today and what do you do?
I'm one of the founders at Elvenite. I work as operational manager at Elvenite, and I'm based in Karlstad.
Like me.
Yeah.
So we're friends, but we should meet more, I
Yes.
feel, already. So value maker, something saying, some stuff said about Åsa is she always delivers. Pretty good for a value maker, right? Creates value quickly with smart technology. Nothing is impossible for Åsa. And she delivers beyond the ordinary and inspires others to do the same. Ooh, again. Super cool.
Thank you.
So who's next?
I've already gone.
You are next. No, we have taken over. No, of course, Juliana. And this was also one of the key wins with a role model. I mean, that's a heavy title.
Oh, yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
So where do you work today and what do you do?
So I am a product lead at Spotify, but I'm also a social entrepreneur and founder of Billa, that is a community for immigrant women in tech in Sweden. And I'm based in Stockholm.
Yeah, Beela.
LA,
So
yes.
everybody who wants to check that out.
Yes.
Pretty cool.
.se.
We might ask you some more questions about that
For
later.
sure.
Hope we get some time to do that. And Juliana, you're such a strong role model. You inspire and you engage people. You are generous and loves to lift others. Your passion is to develop and support others and to use technology to create a fairer world. That's pretty cool too. And then again, about BLA is also mentioned in the motivation behind your win. Okay, now we know who everybody is. Fantastic. But we should get to know you a little bit more because I invited you here because as the national winners in each category, I think you have so much to give and share with the rest of the IT and tech community. And we all want to have more women in our sector and who works in IT in general. So I want to get to know you a little bit. I want to see the sparkles in your eyes so we can attract more and then give you a little bit more love even still. That's why I invited you here today. So first of all, if you can describe yourself with 3 words, what would that be? Kajsa?
Oh, curious, playful, pathfinder.
Pathfinder. Pretty
Yes.
cool. Åsa?
I'm the optimistic, energized, goal-driven person.
I would say I'm determined, I'm happy, and I'm, goal-driven, I would say.
Karima?
And I'm a tech passionate, explorer, and daring.
Daring. Cool. And Juliana?
Adventurous, curious, and very passionate.
And very passionate.
Yes.
And then I always want to start with a little fun question to wake the audience up also to see. So if you were an animal, what animal would you be and why? So anybody, shoot.
I would be a tiger.
Tiger?
Yes.
Wow. Should we be scared?
No, not scared, but I feel that I'm quite strong and brave and lots of power.
I love brave people.
Yes.
Ooh, okay.
And I can continue. So very much similar, but I feel like lioness because I'm fearless, very focused on my goal, but still adaptive and can be agile to mingle with the surrounding.
Ah, that was a good choice.
Yeah, I can continue saying that I think I would be a bird.
A bird.
Yes. And I think one of the reasons at first I am always like trying to find the more warm place on earth to travel. Meaning that if the weather's like this, where I'm going next, right?
Brazil.
Probably, yes. I'm going to be spending 2 months there, so I try to escape the cold weather. So that kind of bird.
Yeah.
But I also like the fact that birds, they thrive in groups, but they also enjoy alone the surroundings. And I think that describes my introvert-extrovert personality very well. Yeah.
Pretty cool. A bird, a lioness, tiger.
Yeah. I would say dog. Because have you met a sad dog? I mean, every dog is happy, right?
Yeah.
And gives other people positive energy, hopefully.
That's why you are an energizer.
Yeah. Yeah, so dog, I would say.
Cool.
I failed this one. I've been thinking about this for so long.
Or you can tell the story about what your man at home said. It was not an animal, but something
No,
else.
I was called a bowl of spaghetti.
A bowl of spaghetti.
Yeah.
And then first you were
Which is-
offended, but
yeah,
then...
it sounded like an insult.
Yeah.
And then he described us, but it's like your head, it's like you can always find, everything's connected, but I don't fully understand how. Like a bowl of spaghetti. That was a pretty good description. I thought.
So I like it.
Yeah.
Super good. So now I want to get to know you a little, all of you. So mainly also, why did you choose tech? Garima, can you tell me why do you love tech so much? You said that before.
From a very early childhood days, I've always been interested in science and technology. But I wanted to choose a different field. I wanted to be an astrophysicist, working with galaxies, stars,
Cool.
and space. But eventually, there was not much of the scope of studying astroscience back then. So what I started with is I was introduced at age of 12 to the computer programming,
Yeah.
where I was just amazed that just with 10 lines of code, I could just input a massive amount of data and a logic there, and it gives me accurate results. That's where my interest with computer programming started. Eventually, it became my passion, and now my identity. But
It's a love story.
yeah, but at the same time, I must say that working in an IT brings another perspective. Since I'm explorer by heart, I never wanted to be restricted into a particular industrial sector or business domain and so on. So being in an IT professional, this gives me a flexibility to try out different segments. So for example, I started up with retail, went to telecommunication, finance, automotive, and now in industrial.
Fits you perfectly.
Perfectly.
So anybody else, why are you in tech, in IT at all? Åsa?
It wasn't my plan, actually.
It wasn't?
No. My plan was to be a teacher. I was an athlete in the beginning of 19, and it was actually IT and computers. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I'll take it at the first. So I had no idea, actually.
You just tried it?
I just tried it.
And then you were hooked?
Yes, and I think it was because it was a lot of problem solving, and I like to solve problems.
You want to be a hero at work?
Yeah.
Or make other people heroes, maybe?
Yes.
That's even more beautiful,
Yes,
right?
it's more beautiful to say, actually.
Perfect. Kajsa?
I started off with industrial design. So I got a master's in that. I started off a career in that. And then I wanted to go more into the logic of how products function or how to present things for users. So user centricity is a core throughout my
You love that.
career. And from physical products, I want to go into more of the logic of how things works. That was the interesting thing. So I did a career break and swapped from physical to digital, started over, and went into what we then called interaction designer. And I had that junior position for a bit, which then kind of became a UX design position. And the context of tech is because when you're in interaction design, you always interact with technology. And I worked for a good 7 years with only new technology. So any modality or any, like 2013, a lot of IoT products, and then a lot of voice interfaces, and zero interface was a thing, and then smart homes. And
So you were right bang in the middle of that.
yeah, I've done AR, VR, like you name it.
Yeah, long before everybody else did.
Like, if it was on the top of the hype cycle as a new tech, I probably touched it and worked on like OS level interaction design, like what is the core logic in so how you navigate, how do you, like obvious things that you all don't even think about, like back, like how do you get to back, or how do you do text input, like so core logics is a lot of things that I did for new tech, and then from there it's been an innovator of sorts. It's kind of a hard word to use, but it means a lot
I
of
think you
different
want to win
things.
the visionary part this year. I
See, it's a
you're
nomination
fishing
award
for
though,
it.
so someone else has to, it's not up to me.
We will see. I hope you get nominated. Alva, you're
Yeah.
quite new.
Yeah.
How new?
I've been working for 2.5 years. I have a bachelor's in system science from 2021.
Was it obvious for you that that's what you wanted to study and the
no.
path you wanted to go?
It was between that and psychology, but I came right from high school, and I felt that I didn't want to study for 5 years, and system science in Umeå is 3 years, so yeah, that was my choice then. And well, I enjoy working in IT tech business.
You feel it's where you want to be?
Yeah, I feel it's where I want to be.
You
But
made the right choice?
I made the right choice.
Maybe you can
yeah.
get some psychology in there
Yeah,
too, right?
because
It's a lot of psychology.
yeah,
Yeah, it
and
is.
I realized when I started working with like development that maybe I'm more interested in working with the like people in the IT business more than the actual like IT things. So yeah, I can definitely.
So you're tweaking your career a little bit that way,
Yeah,
moving forward
yeah,
maybe.
you know, I started as a developer and now I'm business analyst and working.
And you did some testing too, I think? Or,
Yeah, testing and some project leading.
So you tried on a lot of things. She's
yeah.
new to the business, but
Yeah.
are you impatient? You want to, I want something new tomorrow again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would say yeah.
that's hard for all the managers here in the
Yeah.
room saying, "Oh my God."
But it's good if you
Yeah, I prefer. I'm curious.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I want to try new
continue
stuff.
with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And now it's you.
Yes.
So why tech?
Yes, I think when I was a kid, I was very passionate about the future, right? Everything was around the future and Back to the Future movies, for example.
yes, cool.
Yes. So I was obsessed with what's next, right? Are we gonna have flying cars? And I think I'm still nowadays. It's still a
Alva
little
will
bit.
be in it, you know. We said that.
Exactly, yeah. It's still a little bit obsessed about the future. And my first computer, I think, was actually at 7 or 8 years old. It was donated. I grew up in a very, very poor family and neighborhood, so my parents couldn't afford buy one. So it was donated by an NGO. And I remember that the people who donated the computer for me and my brother, they told me that, well, computers are going to change the world. And that, that catchy phrase was in my mind. Like, it stuck in my mind. I was like, all right, if it's going to change the world, that's where I want to be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it was a lot around, I got very inspired since early age around the fact that, tech could be a tool to change reality, right? And I think my reality back in the days, I was challenging a lot about how do I want to get out of this environment? How can I make it better for my people, for my parents, for my family? So it was a lot around giving back, changing my reality, right?
Yeah.
And it actually did. So it was something that if you ask me to do the right choice, absolutely. I think probably nowadays I question a little bit, like if I had a chance to do something completely different, would I?
Yeah.
But I think it was the right choice. And I think it opened so many doors for me that for me, like, for example, I started as a developer.
Yeah.
I studied computer engineer there in Brazil, in Rio. Then I was a developer for, I don't know, almost 6-7 years, and then I transitioned to product. That's where I am until nowadays, which for me makes me to be like in the middle of business and tech and design. So being a product person actually gives me, so many opportunities for change and for influence as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I ended up moving to the product side of things. But I think it's still like coding is still very close to my heart, although I don't do it every day. But I think I am still very passionate about the fact that tech can change the world. Yes.
And I want to ask you, your careers when you were still quite young, new in your career. In the beginning, did you think that my career will look like this? I mean, people who are watching now, they will be thinking, yeah, but you have to have a 5-year plan, etc. Did you have a 5-year plan? And was it important for you to see what's the next step all the time?
No. I mean, I graduated from Lund University in 2008.
Yeah.
There was not a job in sight. There was no jobs.
No.
But I do wish I'd done a little bit more like how you describe your career, and just to jump around a bit more, try more things. I did that eventually after a couple of years, and started over, and I'm really happy I did. Because yes, it's starting over, but it goes at like 10 times the speed, right? Because, but trying things out, and also like maybe do internships, maybe try like study for a shorter degree and go back to school if you change your mind. So this like linear thing, it doesn't exist in my world. It's a mirage.
But I always think
real.
I've been in the same company for 23 years, or in the same group, Capgemini, Sogeti, for all a long time, and I always feel like I had so much opportunities within the group. So sometimes I advise people when they say, "Oh, jump around," like you said. sometimes advise them not to jump around if they are in a larger company, because then you can jump around in the company, because the benefit is that you have to do personal branding to get shit done. Because if nobody knows you, how can you influence? How can you say this is how we should do it? Because nobody knows who you are.
Why would someone trust you?
Exactly. So that's why I think sometimes younger people think we have to change every 2 years or blah, 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 change employer. Depends. It depends. Sometimes it's nice to work in a smaller company and then you move to a larger and then it makes total sense. But if you're in a large company, I mean,
But
expand your network like an octopus and be there and know everybody and get to know everybody, and then doors will open. And that's always been my personal, I mean, 5-year plan. There's no plan, like you said.
Let's not confuse titles with careers.
Exactly.
Because title is a tool.
Yeah.
It's a tool that we can use to open doors or to direct people to us.
Or make shit happen sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it's
you need
very
sometimes,
useful.
yeah.
Sometimes a title is a hindrance and sometimes it's a key that unlocks doors, right?
Yeah.
But it's not equal to a career.
No.
It's not the same thing. And also, what you will notice as a person starting out is that the same title in two companies mean very different things.
Yes.
There's like no rhyme or reason with I used to have that role, and then you switch to another company. It's like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do here now. Did not expect that.
And I also want to add that you need to have fun. I should say fun every day, actually, and challenge yourself and see, have I developed in my role or do I need to do something else? And I think my advice is to listen to yourself and your own stomach, not anyone else.
And also keep your integrity.
Yes.
It's a hard word in English, sorry for that. We had a little pre-chat about that before. When you are, sometimes, especially as a leader, but in every day, you need to, like you said, Kajsa, you have to be able to sleep well at night. Can you elaborate a little bit about what we said about that?
I think we're talking about stress and about this word role model was thrown around. We were reflecting on what does that mean for us? And sometimes it's really about like doing things that you might not want to do, but that enables you to sleep at night. So you don't want to come back to you don't want a situation to come back to you years later, and someone say, "Why didn't you do anything about that? You were a leader." And so sometimes you have to pick fights or not pick fights because you are the one that can take them. And then you have to act with integrity or as whatever your personal compass or moral compass is.
Then you can sleep well at night.
Then you can
and
sleep
get
well
new
at
energy
night.
for the next morning and do miracles.
Have I done what I expect of me today? Yes. If not, I will probably wake up at 2 and go like, that thing. You know?
What are the most common stereotypes that you see still within why women are not coming into tech or IT?
I think there are two reasons that I see. First is that a lot of people perceive that, the technology is very complicated to learn. So the whole programming is complicated to learn.
Is it true?
No. No, not at all. It's just a phobia that you have when you see it from outside. If you're in, then it's really fun.
Yeah.
It will take you to this endless journey of the whole learning curve. So it's like the sky is the limit there. How much is your appetite to learn? So this is one phobia that at least I hear it when I go and talk to a lot of young girls that, can we really do tech because it looks very complicated. But now I think with so much focus on diversity and inclusion, things are of course changing. Because people are getting aware about it. People also see role models like us, like many out there, that, okay, if they can do it, we can do it as well. But at least while I was growing up, I felt very alone being a programmer in different companies that I worked with. Because a lot of women thought that it's very, very complicated. It's really a male thing.
Yeah, and I think a whole diversity and inclusion, it's making progress, probably not fast as what I wanted, as we wanted, right? Because when you still see like these FANG companies and big companies, most of the CEOs are still white men that goes on stage with a with a posture, with a way of talk. They always also have the same name.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm gonna participate in a panel, I think, this week.
Yeah.
That is called, the original name of the panel is "What Would Chad Do in the US?"
What would Chad
Here
do?
is "What Would Yuan Do?"
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's exactly about how we are expected many times to act on a way and talk in a way, especially as leaders, right? And if you're not fitting in that box, you are still very challenged or why you're not performing or why you are different. So being different, the positions that we are, especially as leaders in our organization, it can be quite daunting still, right? Hopefully for the next generations to come, it won't be as hard as it is for us to be in that place that we are compared with the existing models that we have today.
You said actually two things, so I have to come back to you, Garima. You said so tech is hard to learn.
Yeah,
No.
that's how people perceive it.
Yes,
It's not.
But
yeah.
a second thing that when it comes to the misperceptions that they have about tech or working in tech, do you remember what you thought about when you said two things?
Yeah, so I basically said that, first thing is that this is the fear that they get before coming into the tech.
Right.
But the second thing that I was saying is that a lot of stereotypes in the industry also about the women that, can women really do tech? Yeah, because this is, like, for example, while growing up or while getting...
Is that
Do you
true?
actually face that situation?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
In previous life, when I was
okay.
like, let's say that I was getting, or at least I was trying to get promoted from being developer to take the more leadership role is around technology, then of course what you get is like, you're young, you're a woman, can you really handle all our tough stakeholders?
Yeah.
Well, yes, in a very well manner, even though I'm young. But I have all the qualities that a good leader should have. I can convince people, I can bring people together, and we can solve things together. I myself has a lot of, technical abilities to provide like out-of-the-box thinking to the team. But it was like, but there's so many old men around you. Can you really handle them? Will they ever listen to you? So these kind of stereotypes you will hear quite a lot,
So
especially
it's
if you're...
actually the reverse. Can they handle you? It's not
That's
you
what
handle
happened.
them.
That's
like it.
Yeah, I love it.
that's exactly what happened along the journey, right? That's why I progressed.
Yeah.
Now nobody asks me that.
No.
But it was really in the early days.
Yeah.
Do you face any things like that, Alva? Have you, or do you have friends saying, should I get into IT and tech? And you said yes. And what do you say? Why? I mean, because they might have, even in early days, people that's when they choose if they should go into this sector or not. And then what things do you see? What?
I think maybe, I don't know if this is especially in tech, but I can just talk since I'm pretty new in working, like in any business. I don't know if like companies or managers are ready to like attract talents. Like maybe a company is ready to like attract the talent to your company, but what will they do to, like you said, if you work at a big company, how do the company do to make the talent stay in the company? What will the like progress for that person look like? Do you have a plan? Because I think it's very common when you start working that you have, especially when you come right from the university, you have a big plan and I want to be a manager and so on. But sometimes you get the feeling that the company is not ready to take that big step with you and for you. But maybe it's just me, but that's a feeling I've had since I started working. So how can companies like attract the talents that they get to their company?
Yeah, and I think it's very important to talk about the company culture. What kind of culture is it at the company? We have worked a lot with that at Elvenite because we think it's...
But it's the core thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. It needs to be a win-win. It needs to be a perfect match.
Yes.
And that's also, I think, would you agree that when people change jobs, etc., that they would really look for a company that fits your personal DNA?
Yes.
So if you want a career in hierarchy, etc. There are multiple companies for that. If you want something much more easygoing and where you can be entrepreneurial and do stuff tomorrow, then you need to look for that. And I would also encourage more of the people who change jobs, and especially women, to look for gender balance figures in the companies.
Yes.
Because they don't. And then they realize when they come into a new company and they say, they don't even know if there are, how many women there are.
And if they say they won't share it, that's also an interesting bit of information.
Yes, that's amazing to me. Why don't you share it? Even if, I mean, we've been struggling here at Sogeti for a long time on a management level. We always manage very good, 40+%. But just, I mean, the average percentage of women in tech in Sweden is around 30, and it's not budging. It's going down. It's going
down. Yes. And
what's up with that?
Yeah, and I also feel like there's the discussion, of course, I think on two sides, right? One about hiring and attracting more women, and what you said around retaining, right?
Yeah.
And even if you ask, I think most of the companies that you would ask, for example, what are investments in diversity and inclusion?
Yeah.
What are the things that you do? Do you have a budget? Do you have a strategy? Because it's usually, you know, most of the companies that I work is like a Slack channel of women in the group, volunteers that are never paid for the work that they do. Only women, no allies, right, in the room. So that's also challenging because most of the companies are going to say, yeah, we have a group of women. They are doing great.
It's good.
And then, you know, that's good. That's them. But there's no like investments. And one of the things that actually made me change my job, because when I came from Brazil to Sweden, didn't come to work for Spotify. And one of the reasons that made me change was to actually go to a company that really, really values diversity and inclusion. And they have like strategies, they have budget. Anyone that's working with this type of work, it's not volunteer. You get a little bit extra, you know, if you want to really engage into these areas. And I think most of the Gen Z and most of the young people that wants to join companies nowadays, I think there was a research that says that it's one of the first questions in the list. How are companies committed with diversity and inclusion? If they are not, they jump to something
I
else.
have some fresh figures from a new report. It's in Swedish though.
Amazing.
It's Kvinnor i teknikbranschen 2023, so teknikkvinnor. They have 1 out of 3 have no idea what the company or organization is doing on gender balance, on the gender balance side. Many perceive their workplace as gender balance on the surface. 43% feel that CEO and top managers are the ones with the biggest possibilities to move the dial on gender balance. HR only 6. So the ones recruiting, blah blah blah. So who can and should be the biggest, or make the biggest impact? If we believe that all our, you know, top management
What's the gender
will
balance
solve
on the leadership
it,
versus
is that
the
the
HR?
solution?
But I want to make a point here. You know, one thing is that I have seen also that when you ask this question, because this not only for Gen Z, but this is also my number one question when I'm choosing my employer.
Yes.
What is your gender balance in terms of not only in the base or a surface layer, but really on all levels of organization, right, from the top to down?
Yes.
Because what I have seen is that people in general will make a statement, let's say we are 30% women, but okay, maybe that 30% is only on the ground, but where is the representation on the top?
Yes.
And then they get less and less and less the more up you move. So for me, I actually ask specifically the questions that how is the representation right from the top? Because that, in my world, at least I have seen in my experience, that has driven at least some genuine initiatives to increase the gender balance on all levels. Yes. So for example, at Sandvik right now, which I have chosen last year as an employer, in our own management team, we are 50%. So in a group IT leadership team on a Sandvik group level, we are 50% women. Fantastic. And that makes me super happy.
And I would say ping to Åsa, who I think she will be happy if I mention this, because she's very proud of something right now, a European ranking, some shape or form where you were ranked very high, because you have 45%?
Yeah, 47 actually.
47?
And in top management, we have 55%. Awesome. So, and we have been working hard for this, actually, and I realized that it's very important to have role models like me or other of my colleagues.
You feel like role models?
Yes.
All of you?
Yes.
Alvad?
Soon.
Yeah. Well, I hope I do.
But you're a mentor.
Yeah.
You've been mentoring already,
Yeah, exactly.
although you're quite young.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And under the AdHer umbrella, we also have another initiative called Match and Go,
Yeah.
where we are collaborating with another Swedish female organization called Datatjej. So that's every half year we match people. And we don't say, we hope it's going to be a perfect match, and we have matched now over 3,000 people. We're in the 11th round of that, because that's what we hear that our members want. So you can either be an adept or a mentor. And I'm always looking for mentors, because there's always a lack of mentor. And I would say, all of you that have been mentors, all of you, I'm guessing, it's so rewarding.
It is.
I mean, I get the shivers again, because I mean, you can, with a few hours of your time in 5 months, like in this case, you can change somebody's life. You can help them so much with what you have. And you've already started that journey.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. When I started working, I was searching as an adept, so I had a mentor, and after that, I think this is the 4th time I mentor, so I'm having 4 different adepts, and I always.
That's a role model, just so you know.
Yeah. I'm always looking for like new adepts to be mentoring, because I know
you will get the shitload out of this.
Yeah.
No worries.
I hope.
I feel like there was one thing that we missed when we talked about like initiatives and gender balance.
Yeah.
We were talking about initiatives only. But what I'm missing out of this is incentive structures.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Because that's what makes retention figures. That has impact on retention figures. So if you want to change who is in your company, you also have to change your incentive models.
Agree. And you have to visualize, like we said, you have to ask for and wake your managers up in the middle of the night saying, so how many women do we have in general on the management level, on the top management level? They should know. It's super important, and you should know also.
Yeah.
I mean, so you should be the ambassadors.
Yeah. And I want to go even further by saying that we are not even talking about intersectionality and the amount of black women that we have. Because one of the challenges that I face here as an immigrant black woman is, you go in the pyramid and you go up.
Yeah.
And then you see that most of the women that you have, they're mostly white Swedish women. And then we see on the other side, there's so many immigrants in the city. Where are they? Why are they not included?
So you're helping with BLM.
Exactly.
I love that.
That's how my whole idea in the company came. Like, there's a lot of discussion about gender, and there's a lot of progression in Sweden about this. But I don't see the same discussions going on about integrating people of color and immigrants into this, right? Into the
Some
areas.
people say when you drive gender balance for real, that will also come along. So other, I mean the full scope of diversity will come along when you, because sometimes I say, well, maybe start somewhere, and where you can move the dial the most is when it comes to gender.
Yes.
Fastest. You should be able to, but we're still standing still, and I'm getting frustrated as I speak about it. Another just interesting question or facts from this one is that 4 million people with tech competence will be missing in European companies until 2027. That need could be fulfilled if the number of women in tech would double.
Yeah, absolutely.
And according to the leadership manifest by Tech Sweden, 70,000 women or people are needed in the tech industry in Sweden. 70,000.
Yes, but I mean, one thing is really to, as I think, Kaisa, you touched on it, like, one thing is like a woman joins the tech. But let's say that if this gender balance is not solved,
yes,
they would quit as well. Because
I
that's
know.
what I have seen.
Yeah.
That they started and then they continued for a couple of years. They felt so alone. They were interrupted number of times. They were not included in pair programming activities and so on. And after that, they changed the profession. This is, I think, the most common problem in industry. I myself have gone through that. That's another thing, that I'm a kind of stubborn, daring person. So I never quit. I rather kind of promised myself that I want to change this. But this happens. So even if, let's say that we encourage and inspire women to bring them into the company, I think the the culture has to change to, give them the equal opportunity and equal space to grow as well. Because just make them joining an industry will not solve the issue.
No, it would look good in the figures, but even the figures are not good. So.
No,
And they don't share them.
Exactly.
Okay, we have to start wrapping up, and I feel like it's such a pleasure to sit here with you today, and I would like to keep you in the room for at least a week and just pick your brains. And the best part with all people watching is that they can, connect with you on LinkedIn or whatever and ask questions and get engaged, because these women are amazing. And this is just 5 of the 5 winners nationally in all the different 18 locations of AdHer. When we awarded AdHer Awards last year, we had local winners in the categories also. So I'm so proud of it. I'm still get the shivers again, because I think we need role models like you. And I'm so thankful that you came here today. And as the last question, when it comes to, of course, you won the AdHer Award in your category. You feel it's important to have these kinds of initiatives, awards highlighting. Maybe it's a no-brainer. You will say yes, I hope, or I will cry. But is this an initiative that you like particularly?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Not just because you won.
No, not just because we won. I think, you are bringing basically 2 important aspects with these kind of awards. One is the recognition and celebration.
Yes.
As you have mentioned that when women got even nominated, we were thrilled, right?
Yes.
That we got the appreciation, we got the recognition. And of course, by winning it on a national level and on a regional level, make that even more cry.
Yes.
But in general, I think recognition and celebration was great thing, because that has boosted our confidence and kind of reaffirmed that, okay, what we are doing is the right thing. But the second most important for me is, like, you also brought in the awareness that there are so many role models around, and including the nominations as well. That there are so many amazing women out there who are working and contributing to IT
we
in
don't
so many
always
good
do
ways.
enough personal branding. So
No.
I think in this case, I felt like we enabled the ones that didn't want to do, okay, I'm very good, look at me. Somebody else told the story. So you could proudly say, okay, I was nominated, proud nominee, and put the flashcard in LinkedIn, and then tell somebody else told why you were so amazing.
Exactly, that you are so good. Yeah,
and thank that person. And then it was like a snowball effect. And I was like, ooh, again.
Yeah.
A lot of shivers today.
So for me, this sort of initiative should definitely be there and should be more and more.
And we had 913 nominations, like I said last year. How many should we try to get this year, do you think?
Aim to 1,000.
2,000. Yes.
2,000. How many will you nominate?
I'm going to nominate 3.
3?
Yeah.
I dare you, 5.
Okay. Let's do 5. Because I know so many amazing women there. I think the list is huge.
Yes.
That's perfect. So the nomination period is open. So that's also why I put you here today. Sneaky, she's sneaky. But I think like you said, you think this is a fantastic and good, concrete initiative. So let's all get together and spread the word and start nominating. And we will have a couple of weeks of nomination, and then local awards, because it's equally, or I would say even more important in your local area, where everybody knows you more than winning this national. It's nice, but local is even better. So there will be local events in all the 18 AdHer locations, announcing the winners in each of these 5 categories. And they are so soft, the categories. So I mean, superstar, you know a superstar. You all know one. A value maker, that's fantastic. Somebody who always delivers, etc., etc. Visionary, like we said. Energizer, the Alvas of the world, and the role model. Who do you really see as your role model? Start thinking about it, and don't just think, act, do. And again, AdHer is the name of this initiative. Add her to your network. Start with that. Thank you so much, ladies, for today, and start nominating for AdHer Awards 2020.